comes first, and everything that we do, we say, our actions, particularly. God be with you guys today. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the resistance. But before we do so, you can like, share, subscribe this feed. You can also donate via PayPal. The link is in the description. This stream is brought to you by LIVE. Live now. We're live now, and there are different range of drinking products with sorrel, orange, fruit punch, grapefruit, and Morby, as well as lime. You can get them in the Trinidad and Tobago area by placing your order to the number you can WhatsApp or call 319-4788. That's 319-4788. You can also order LIVE cleaning products such as disinfectant, liquid detergent, fabric softener, and dish washing liquid. LIVE, live now. We're live now. I just want to give a shout out to all the people who have been supportive of that particular company, LIVE. Twilight of the Gods is really awesome. Here's Sigurd going up against Thor here, throwing all his might and splendor. And Sigurd vowed to have vengeance against Thor for destroying everything she knew, her civilization, her family. She was the last of the giants of the open hand. There were the frozen the frozen giants, and the frost giants, and then we also have the giants of the open hand. And the frost giants would join up with her eventually. But suffice it to say, Sigrid said something, and I want to quote her. I actually used it as a quotation. When Loki told her that she could kill Thor and how she was going to, same time, if he wants a war, I would give it to him, you know? And that's pretty cool because actually, that's a reflection of what's happening now. We're coming down to what looks like a sort of like a World War III Middle East regional war. And it looks like the United States and Israel's begging for a war. They're begging for a war so that in a time of war, the people are held hostage. Uh, you know, elections can be postponed because of war. Um, and, in a time of war, the military industrial complex makes a lot of money. Special interest private corporations make a lot of money. But in addition to that, power is consolidated. That is to say, that more civil liberties are forfeited, so called in the interest of national security. So they strip away more of our powers through war. And as you can see, so many human rights violations are happening. Genocide is going on, etc., etc. And, the gods of this empire, they seem to be able to do whatever they feel like doing. At least this is what it appears like. But of course, as Sigma says in the end of Twilight of the Gods, she wanted to rid the world of gods like Thor, gods who make mankind's life miserable. And I can see Israel as an entity, as a country, dissolving and actually not here. So let me start off by saying this, because I should say this, because it's really important I do. So on X, they have blocked my account. I've appealed it. And based on this account right here, where I told FactFinder AI under Mehdi Hassan's tweet, I told him to shut the fuck up, slap yourself for buying into the propaganda. Because FactFinder AI was trying to say that Hamas, and the resistance, they're the terrorists. And I said, since 1948, with the Nakba, Israel has been ethnically cleansing Palestine. Israel does not want anyone in it to speak of it because they know the evil they did, stealing Palestinian land and violating the rights of the civilians. And I guess this person reported me, and they want me to delete the content that I said to that person, FactFinder AI. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bow down to this at this point in time, which I don't care. Because social media is not the be all and end all of life. You know what I mean? So if I don't get access to X, so like, fuck them. But I'm not going to my statement. They're trying to couch it as hate speech. It is not hate speech, as you clearly can see. This is not hate speech. This is somebody being reprimanded, and freedom of speech again, or rights and freedoms are being eroded by these really idiotic, um, um, idiotic claims that we are violating anything. And so, as such, on social media, they're using this to control people and to try and silence them. But you're not going to silence me. Okay? You're not going to silence me. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to rescind the statement. It's going to stay there for posterity, you know. And they've been attacking me also on YouTube. On YouTube, they've been trying to decline my reach. And these are just all signs when they try to shadow ban and do these things to people like myself and you guys. It's really because they have no grounds. They don't have the truth. So they're trying to hide everything. And when people speak the truth and expose their lies, and that's why I said the empire is falling apart. But I just wanted to show you guys that because they've tried to stop my access on X at this present point in time. They've slapped several copyrights on me when I've had a stream where it was just simply my face, and they still slapped a copyright on me. So YouTube is trying to do foolishness as well, and you just have to fight back at them. Remember, we are more than they are, and the power is in our hands, not in their hands. Julian Assange has been freed. He made a statement recently, I believe it was yesterday. Shout out to my little brother, by the way. Happy birthday to him. Shout out to my cousin up in the UK. Happy birthday to him. That would be Clinton and Anton. Um, but yes, once again, they're trying to censor, they're trying to mute, they're trying to kill off people who are telling the truth and exposing the empire, but they can't stop it. Just recently, I believe it was the day before yesterday, Hezbollah bombed the living shit out of Israel again. Haifa has been hit a number of times, so a number of people have been injured, a number of people have been killed. And this is going to just escalate because all the countries around Israel have been holding back on Israel, and now they're going to plunder it, they're going to destroy it, you know, and it'll be all Israel and the United States' fault, and NATO, and United States, they're all combining together to try to um, protect their interest, which is Israel, which is the Western initiative in the Middle East. The thing about it is that we have some heavy-hitted players like China and Russia, which are backing the resistance, which they're on the right side of history. I'm not going to lie. Trying to tell me that Hamas are terrorist groups and so on. No, the IDF is a terrorist group. They're attacking Lebanon. They've attacked Syria and continue to attack Syria. They've threatened Jordan, they've threatened Egypt, they've attacked Iraq. They're attacking all the surrounding countries around them who have not uh, attacked them unless it is associated with Palestine. Hezbollah has been attacking Israel in the north and displaced a lot of people in the north because they've been displacing a lot of people in Palestine. And so that's the only reason why that's happening. It's not an unprovoked attack, it's an attack to defend their neighbors. And Israel is putting itself up into a situation where it's going to get obliterated off the map if this continues. If this escalation continues, and America is also funding and fueling it, and also their military is working together with them. So it's not going to be surprising, as Mehdi Hassan said, even though he's a traitor to the Palestinian people by supporting Kamala Harris. It's not surprising if Israel gets blown off the map, and then I don't know if terrorism will actually happen on American soil anymore. It's possible. I mean, I wouldn't say terrorism. I would say an attack happening on American soil. That's very possible if Russia gets involved. Um, Even if these countries get involved, it can be a pinpoint accurate mission and really just bring down the thing. But I think America is going to blow up its own self. What I mean by that is it's going to implode on its own. So no other country will need to attack it. Now, for those of you watching this, don't forget to smash the like button, show some love and support that way. Um, but I want to talk a little bit about also Warner Brother Pictures and Warner Brothers Studios and DC Studios. in the same vein, because DC Studios doing itself no favors and imploding on themselves. If you just currently look at this information here, Joker, uh, Joker 2, and you can see Folie à Deux. Joker 2 is currently the amount of money it has generated so far. We're going to see it in a second here. I believe it's a box office flop at present. Oh, well, actually has made so far 114.7 million. It hasn't grossed back its budget yet, but it's made 114.7 million. Let's see if it can at least break even. Maybe, hopefully, do something. At least break even. To break even, it will need $500 million. So if it can make $500 million, it might be able to break even. And at 114.7 million uh, on a Tuesday, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know. Today is the 8th, I believe. Today's the 8th. So it's been 4 days in running, and it's made 114.7 million worldwide. We'll see how it goes, but this is, of course, a tremendous disappointment. But the point I'm making is that Warner Brothers Studio, I'm sorry, not Warner Brothers Studio, sorry, my bad. Warner Brothers Discovery, I'm going to show you guys this. They are in a miserable situation. USD, it's again below $8. It's plummeting. And again, that's their own doing. It's the fall of their empire as well. It looks like they're going to fall and crash and burn, and that'll be it. And I'll say this. I'll say this. This is because, once again, democracy is not on play here, right? Israel's trying to be an authoritarian state and do whatever it feels like doing and do anything to anybody they want in the world. They try to play victim. Like even now, they're trying to posture as if they're the victim. Well, Hezbollah has been attacking us all year round. Well, you've been attacking Palestine all year fucking round. And they're just responding to you. If you would stop your aggression on the Palestinians and leave them alone and stop occupying their territory, Hezbollah will stop attacking you. The Houthis will stop attacking you. Iraq will stop attacking you. This is something preventable, but you have chosen the path of aggression. You've chosen the path to say, I'm the big baddie in the Middle East. Okay, well, if you're the big baddie in the Middle East, you're going to get destroyed. Okay, because no man is greater than anybody. And no amount of NATO and American backing is going to stop the inevitable, because we already know where this is heading. Okay. So, as Sigrid said, if they want a war, I will give it to them. And the gods are about to get destroyed. It's the beginning of Ragnarok. Um, and it's the same as we can clearly see here, and the stock has just dropped to 7.65 here. USD has just dropped again. We were able to see that in real time with Warner Brothers. The gods have been waging war against, and they have been raping and destroying what the fans love, and they deny them what they love, and they're killing what they love. So the fans have taken a war to them and taking them out. Okay, nothing in Warner Brothers is going to survive. Nothing. They're going to get even more flops. We laid down the gauntlet on them, and we told them to restore the Snyderverse. It's not our true people. Didn't we tell them to restore the Snyderverse? We are on the right side of history, where creatives are still being, definitely creatives are being disrespected, and they're being slandered, and they're being destroyed, left, right, and center. And the latest one is Todd Phillips. Okay, Warner Bros. Has not changed. They've continued. They've doubled down, just like Israel's doubled down on destroying the Palestinians. These people have doubled down. They feel they're not accountable, so they will pay the ultimate price for not being accountable, for not wanting accountability. They're going to be destroyed. Okay, because democracy wins out here. Democracy wins out here. Hold on a second here. Like I said, I've been blocked. So when I try to go up into Twitter here, it doesn't allow me. But Dr. Jill Stein's been saying a lot of things which are really cool. And as I said before, don't you guys dare vote for any of the duopoly. Don't vote for Donald Trump. Do not vote for Kamala Harris. Vote for Dr. Jill Stein and bring down the House. Destroy the empire from the inside out. And I'm going to continue to support Dr. Jill Stein and Dr. Butch Weir and the Green Party. Guys, it's green. It's not blue. It's not red. It's green. The combination of blue and red. Some of the things that Jill Stein purports is things that Republicans would like to happen. Now, some of the things that Jill Stein purports is some things that the Democratic progressives would want. Jill Stein is pro-human, pro-peace, pro the environment. Okay? She's not into the war. She's anti-war. So this is the person you really want. And the only way, I was listening to Vladimir Putin, I was talking about the elections. And the only way America can really, as Vladimir Putin so correctly said, get things sorted out, and so that the elections actually affect Russia in a positive way, is if America focuses on its domestic issues more than international issues, and then with the international issues seeks nonviolent means and through negotiations and discussions to bring about peace. And he's right. He's 100% correct when it comes to that. Again, I don't agree with Russia invading Ukraine, but I do agree. I do understand why it did what it did. I do understand it. I don't think that was the way to proceed, seeing it was a sovereign state. But now that we've reached that way, there needs to be de-escalation. NATO is taking this as an opportunity to try to annex Russia, weaken it, which is almost impossible to do at this point in time. Russia is just beating the crap out of Ukraine, and Ukraine's not going to be a sovereign state very soon. And the people that will have to be blamed for it will be the allies of Ukraine who were promising Ukraine to become a member of NATO. And no matter what they do, no matter what they try, they're not going to beat the Russians. They just don't have the numbers. They just don't have the size. They don't have the mass. They don't have the weaponry. They don't have the, they're not going to beat the Russians. What could happen is, and Ukraine is taking a pounding. Ukraine and all the military people, all the might that was in Ukraine, they're taking a pounding, and NATO is trying to go in there. But the thing about what's still disgusting about this whole thing is that the US and NATO are using Ukraine as the proxy. So Ukraine is suffering tremendously in their partnership with the United States and with the other nations, and will lose its sovereignty. It will lose everything because they're using Ukraine as a tool. Ukraine's being used, and it's not right. They don't care about the Ukrainian people. And it's about time we realize that these people who supposedly were elected to lead, they don't care about the people who elected them to lead them. They will carry those people down to their graves. Right now, Ukraine doesn't need to be throwing another missile or another bullet. They need to be negotiating a way of peace with Russia. And it's very, very hard now because Russia's in full tilt. And I know Mr. Putin is trying his best not to affect the civilian life in Ukraine in an adverse way, because they're going to have to bear that responsibility of the Ukraine again. They'll have to, have rulership over Ukraine again. So he's not really interested in slaying and killing civilian lives. He's trying to do as much damage control as is possible. But it's almost a foregone conclusion. Ukraine is not going to be on the map as a sovereign state anymore. They're going to get wiped off, right? And the empire is going to take a tremendous blow to it. And, everybody always talks about how Russia is, Russia's the enemy, the enemy, the enemy. I don't know how Russia became the enemy to start with, but I would say this, because Russia, is somewhat of a communist nation, even though they have democracy now, they vote elections and stuff, but their undercurrents are communism, right? The problem with it is that Russia's not the enemy. It's never been the enemy. The enemy to the world has been these oligarchs, these people who would kill thousands upon millions of other people to attain their ends. They don't care about you and I, the common man. They never did. And these sadistic elements preserved the Nazis and had them live down in Argentina. They've run intelligence operations, having Nazis at the head of these intelligence operations. Nazis who don't care about anyone except themselves. And I know that one person said, the Nazis, they're not necessarily bad people. It was the name of the army. Well, the army did atrocious things, just like the IDF. The IDF is not something I'm proud to even talk about. And Nazis has become a byword like that. So that's why we talk about the Nazis the way we talk about the Nazis. Yes, they are a military arm of Germany, but they did so much atrocious things that's why we talk about them now. But we realize the United States has been doing atrocious things in several different nations all around the world, and they're just as bad, if not worse than the Nazis now. And so it's very interesting to think about these things, because as the truth came out with Julian Assange, as the truth came out with what's happening in Palestine, and then the wider truth from people who have been in Iraq, military people, guys like Greg and other military people, we begin to realize just how evil this empire has been throughout the world. And the values that, we've been taught, Western values, they're not upheld at all by these people. So it's just interesting. And I think it's good that people are now bringing it to the fore, both diplomats and also the common average man, and the protests that happen, and the fight back. And it's very important in these elections that Dr. Jill Stein's presence is felt, and not only felt, but that she wins these elections, because that'll be a tremendous pushback on the system, because millions and millions of dollars have been pumped into elections by special interest groups so that they would have the sway and control over things. And it's very important that the people rise up now, and they have a revolution in the sense of they vote very strongly for the candidates that are in line with their values. That is, against the war, against genocide, against the very poor economic conditions in the United States of America, pro assistance for flood victims, anti-war, that kind of stuff. And so it's important. Jill Stein is the only candidate that represents that right now in this three race, and she needs to get past 5%. She needs to also overcome the hurdle and get through the threshold and get all those extra votes. People who don't normally vote, 60 something percent of Americans don't vote. Okay, well, or close to 60%. So it's very important for that. And I've been covering a lot of different topics, of course, and you guys have been listening in. Um, it's very important for you guys to understand, and I know I talk about entertainment, but I usually tie entertainment in with current events, particularly now in the world. um, it's very important to have a sense of morale without being too preachy. It's very important to have a sense of right and wrong without trying to shove it down other people's throats. I always believe that actions speak louder than words. And the only reason I'm vocalizing these things is to inspire you guys, motivate you guys to do something that's the right thing. The right thing is not necessarily the popular thing. The right thing is not necessarily the thing that everyone is talking. It's not necessarily something that's in style. But if you've watched all these movies, whether it's Rebel Moon, whether it's Twilight of the Gods, whether it's Zack Snyder's Justice League, whether it's Army of the Dead, whether it's 300, whether it's House of Gahul, okay? If you've watched all those movies, if you've watched Star Wars, for crying out loud, if you watch all those movies and you just don't understand why somebody like myself would speak the way I'm speaking about world events, restore the Snyderverse. Sorry, release the Snyder Cut Twitter handle on Twitter. Hasn't spoke out much these days, but has been firmly behind Free Palestine. And the reason why so many people are behind Free Palestine is not because they support Hamas or terrorism or whatever the fuck you guys are talking about. It's because they have a conscience. They have a conscience. And they know when it's propaganda and when it's bullshit that people are talking and when the truth is there. And the fact that these people have to try and cover up everything. They try to censor people like myself on YouTube. They tried to censor people and the videos they have. Just recently there, they killed another Palestinian news reporter because he was covering the attack in North Gaza. Okay, and the thing about it is, you're targeting children. You're shooting them in the head. You're killing children. You're blowing up children. Okay, and it will be like, that's standard protocol. America used to do that. So because America did heinous crimes against humanity in Afghanistan and in Iraq, that gives you the green light to do heinous crimes and even worse crimes boldly in public view in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Syria. Why do you think there's a resistance in Iraq right now? You've lied, you've cheated, you've circulated rumors. So many things about October 7th are lies. But that's how an empire falls. It has to be exposed for what it really is. And now the whole wide world sees Israel for what it is. The whole wide world is seeing America for what it is, and not the American citizens, and not the Israeli citizens per se. A substantial amount of Israeli citizens support, obviously, the initiatives that Israel is doing. But there's a substantial amount of Israelis who are disgusted by what is going on. There's a substantial amount of, well, the majority of Americans are disgusted with their government right now. They can't understand why their government's doing that, but it's because their governments wholly and solely support Israel because this is the policy of America as well. It's been that kind of bastard, evil empire. Talking about the world's policing and they're exempted from certain things. But it's catching up. The world's catching up, like I said before. I want to show you guys some more stuff in terms of entertainment. I already covered some of this stuff. I didn't do any reviews on them, but there's still stuff that I want to talk about when it comes to Netflix. And Netflix is doing great by leaps and bounds because it has such a wide array of also entertainment. But Netflix is also going by leaps and bounds because of the content that they put out. Meaning not just the vast array, but the kind of content that's out there. When we talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I sort of watched a piece of it and it just really draws you in, even though it's a 4-hour long film. Zack Snyder's Justice League shows you what a hero is. It shows you that a hero has restraint. When I was looking at Silas Stone speaking to Victor Stone, when showing him his abilities and so on, and how he could, destroy the world in the blink of an eye with, nuclear weapons. He could, change the world's economy in the blink of an eye. But Silas Stone said, but it's not about doing those things. Even if you're capable of it, it's about not doing it, showing restraint. And I think of Iran, I think of all the surrounding nations around Israel, how much restraint they've been showing in dealing with, they flexed a couple muscles and then they say, look, We could do much worse than that. We could really make it a living healthy. We could wipe you off the planet. But we've chosen not to. We chose the way of peace because instead of going through war and messing up economies and destroying infrastructure like your dumbass is doing to other nations, we choose to try to bring peace and to control the situation. And of course, you can only speak so much to a fool, and then after that, you just have to let him have it. But I'm saying that you see those attributes in heroes. And these are the people that these wicked people have called terrorists. People who actually were trying to get deals, like Nasrallah. He was actually behind the ceasefire deal. Okay? He wasn't trying he was the guy that's trying to curb the war. Sinwar, he's a warrior. So he'd be waging war. He doesn't care. He's waging war right down to the end. He's going to try and wipe out every single IDF soldier he could probably get his hands on. So you see the difference between one set of people wanting peace, but as you see, when Netanyahu annihilates these people or it goes after them to kill them, the whole idea behind it is impunity. They want to do things with impunity, and it comes back to bite you in the ass. Karma is a bitch, you know. I got so many other things to say, but I'm gonna take my time and just go through it. It's the same shit with Warner Brothers. The same thing. These people don't want to be accountable. They're going rogue, and yeah, I mean, majorly messing up their studio, messing up everything, and it's just going down the tools. The fall of an empire. Empires, when people start to go violent and they start to do things with impunity, the end is nigh. We saw Nero fiddle while Rome burned, right? Supposedly the great Nero. But what was he? He was oppressive to his own people. He was oppressive to his own people. And we see in the United States of America, while flood victims are suffering and the hurricane is not easing up. What do we see? It's a priority for America to their victims of the flooding? No. They're emptying out their monies and all their money on war, on more destruction. So there's destruction within and there's destruction they're advocating without. And it's stupid. And it shows us how incompetent our leadership is and how we need responsible leaders who will actually shepherd the sheep, who will actually take care of the people that they were given to lead. We have a very useless alliance with Israel by America right now. It's very useless. It's not going to accomplish anything. And if there's anything, the International Criminal Court, the International Court of Justice, is going to find these guys severely implicated in war crimes against humanity. And they should all be brought to justice. I'm talking about George Bush Jr., all the way up, all of them. Every single president and every single administration, they should hunt them all down and bring them to justice because all of these people have blood on their hands. They're wicked, evil people, posing as if they're good, nice, kind people. They're not good, nice, kind people. It's not about being incompetent. These people are not incompetent. So I say all of this to say the empire is falling in front of our eyes. We're watching the decline. We're watching the destruction of Israel. We're watching the decline of the American empire and the European empires because China is the greatest economic force in the world right now. And Russia is the greatest military force in the world right now. Neither of them, well, China might be more interested in world domination in terms of finances, but neither of them are interested in taking over the world. They're more interested in their territories. I've heard China talking about Taiwan and is trying to, again, get Taiwan under its belt. I would say this, though. I would say that China, though you have to keep an eye on every power in the world. The thing is, America is not being held accountable like it should. And so it's going rogue as well. So it's all three of them are dangerous. If they're allowed to consolidate power and just be the most powerful thing, they won't check each other. And right now, Russia is checking America. China is checking America. America is trying to check China and Russia. So that tension between them is why we're kind of safe as people right now. Because if one was to truly become ultimately powerful, then we're all doomed. You know. So I say all of this to say that it's very important for people to understand how uh, how movies affect us. Um, there's a lot of propaganda in movies. They always class Arabs and Muslims as jihadists and people who would destroy other people. And in Hollywood, and of course Hollywood is controlled by the Jews, or certain Jewish people. Some of the Jews are not bad people at all. They're good people. But others are Zionists and they're very, very evil people. Very evil people. Because their outcome is for themselves. They don't care. They think everybody else is supposed to be their slaves. And they try to play the victim card. They try to play the race card, you know. So I say all of this to say, the anti-Semitic laws that they're trying to pass and all these bullshit. Um, the people need to, as I said before, you need to have civil disobedience to these things. Don't adhere to them. Don't ever take a step back on it. If you get censored online, don't take a step back. And if the sufficient amounts of you decide that you're not stepping back and that, you know what, fuck this platform, and you leave, mass exodus to the platform, then because they need you. All these people only can do certain laws and get away with them as far as you let them. You collectively are over 2 billion, 4 billion, 5 billion, 6 billion people. They don't have as much as you in terms of numbers. They're a minority in the world. Okay? And they may have a certain concentration of money and resources and power, but that's only as far as you let them. The world could run on quite well, maybe much more peaceful without them. And greedy people in the center of everything. So just think about what I'm saying. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys for now. It's been a blessing talking to you guys. Don't forget that you can smash the like button, share, subscribe. This is again brought to you by LIVE Products, LIVE Live Now, Live Now. If you want to get some drinks or you want to get cleaning products in Trinidad and Tobago, you can check out LIVE. Again, smash the like button. Don't forget you can donate via PayPal. I will see you guys later. It's good to see you guys while we're tuning into this stream. There's a couple of little things. I just want to throw a couple of little nuggets for you guys. Zack Snyder's always done movies which, if you've paid attention, are about liberation. It's always about liberation. It's a sort of democratic ideal. No matter what. So you look at Rebel Moon, it's about people freeing themselves from their oppressors. You look at 300, it's just 300 people taking on an empire to free themselves from oppressors. You look at Zack Snyder's Justice League, freeing themselves from oppression, from Darkseid, from Steppenwolf. It's always about freeing yourself from the oppressors. What you have to understand is who is really your oppressor. So we've learned a lot of different things. You look at Alza Gahu, same thing. You look at Sucker Punch, same thing. This was an oppressor. So it's about coming out from the oppression. It's about freeing yourself from mental slavery. Okay? Coming out the matrix, as we say. So I hope that this encourages a lot of you to pursue truth and to see through the lies of so many people who have been lying to us. And you would think the leaders would not do that, but that's what they do. Their focus is on lying to us. I already put this out there, but Bionic Coast is pretty good to check out on Netflix, as well as Skull Island, as well as Netflix Terminator Zero. These two are a series, and this is a movie. It's a good little movie, low budget movie, but it's still good. So check them out. It's good stuff there. This is more boxing, so I'll leave that out. I am Christ, I am disciple. I'll catch you guys later. Peace to everyone. God be with you.